This is Peak Transformation Hierarchy 2 Properties 7A, and I'm going to walk through a material sample for this program. It's actually become one of my personal favorites here lately. And for our train class stimuli, we used 2 different sets of materials, both of which have 2 properties within them. So for train class 1 and 2, we used these paint chips, and we just fixed on there different star stickers that have various points on the top. So as you can kind of see, we have dark to light going on, and then we have 1 point, 2 points, 3 points, 4 points, and 5 points. And I'll show you what this would look like all laid out. But this is the set that we used for train class 1 and train class 2. With train class 1, you would not be using this particular piece. With train class 2, you would be pulling out that first dark point and just focusing on the shade. But again, I will walk through that more specifically here in just a minute. 3 and 4 include blocks that are just covered in paper and that have dots on the top. So there's different sizes. We have a really large one. So this is our largest that has a 5 on it. The next size has a 4 on it. The next size has a 2 on it. Then a 3. And then 2 identical sized ones that have a 5 and a 1 on it. So again, the properties that we're looking at with this set involve size, and then it also involves number, depending on what anchors we're putting out and what we're targeting. So if we're targeting size, we would keep both of our 5s in place, and if we were targeting numbers, we would keep the 1 in there, and then you would hopefully have the client be ignoring size and just focusing on numbers. So that is what we used for train class. For test class, we use wooden blocks and Paw Patrol. So we have wooden blocks, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And again, we have size going on. So 1 and 5 are smallest, shortest blocks. 2 is the next longest. 3, 4, and 5 being the very longest. And again, I'll lay this all out more specifically here in just a minute, but I just want to show you what everything is first. Sorry, this one might be a little bit long. And then the last set involves Paw Patrol characters. So we have a large Marshall on a black page, a teeny tiny Marshall on the same color, another large one that matches the dark as far as size goes, and then the next shade with various sizes. So that would involve for the test class 3 and 4. Okay, so now I'm going to back out and really lay this out for you so you can kind of see. So for this program, we use just a strip of cardboard that has 5 dots on it, or 5 circles, to kind of show the kiddo or whoever we're working with where the materials need to get placed. And then we also have spots for those 2 anchor pieces to go that the person leading the program will place in there. Okay, so for the first one, I'll just show you what that would look like. For train class 1, brown dark 1 and brown dark 5 are the 2 anchors for this program. So you know that the shade is the same, the points are different, so you're going to be focusing on getting them to put 0.2, 3, and 4 in between on the stars. So you would put out those 2 anchors, you would hand the client or the kiddo the other 3 pieces, and you would say, sort. And they would hopefully go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. You would obviously prompt, praise, reinforce, do whatever you need, and this other star you just withhold because you need that for the next train class. So then the next one, you would take this piece away and put that other 5 out. When you have a 5 and a 5 out that are 2 different shades with the same number, you're focusing on the gradient. So then you would put out the same 3 pieces again and tell the kiddo to sort. And they would hopefully go from light to dark. You would praise, prompt, reinforce, do whatever's needed. But that's what the first 2 classes look like with the same materials, but focusing on 2 different properties. And hopefully, again, those anchors are what those kiddos should be cueing in on, and hopefully you would just have to say sort. You might have to prompt by saying sort size, sort number, etc. So then the next 2 train classes involve those blocks that I showed you. So for the first one, we're going to be doing small, medium, and large. So we're gonna have the same number out with different sizes. Hand these 3 to the kiddo and say sort. And they would hopefully go from large to small. With these anchors, you should be able to go either way. The kiddo should be able to go either way. So you could also put them this way and tell them to sort. Okay, so that's what that would look like from small to large. Then the 4th train class is number. So you'd have the same sizes out, different numbers, tell them to sort. Oops, I messed it up. There we go, sort. You do not need the large 5 block for this one. Then you would tell them to sort and they would go by number. Again, they should be able to go either way. You're only having them go one direction for that trial, but you should be switching it up. It doesn't always need to go, you know, up in sequence. You could go from 5 down to 1, different sizes, that sort of thing. So then for test class, wooden block 1 small and wooden block 5 small. You would withhold that other 5 block and tell them to sort. They would be focusing on number with this one. So that's what that would look like, correct? Again, this is test. You wouldn't be able to give any feedback. And then the next one, you would put out your 2 5s, just hold that 1 back, and you would tell them to sort. This time they're focusing on size. So that's what that one would look like. Again, they could go either direction, but that would be that example. And then this last set are the Paw Patrol characters. So you would do, for the first one, sort, and they would be focusing on size because the color gradient is the same on your anchors. So you're focusing on the size of the character. Oops, helps if I do this, right? So that's what a 10 would look like for size. And then you would swap out the small one for the large one for the 4th block, or for the 4th test class, and you would tell them sort and hand them the 3 pictures. Now they're sorting gradient. They should go dark to light and disregard the size. So that is a sample of what 2 properties might look like from peak transformation, and I hope you found this helpful.